Wasn't that a great presentation? So, we have the first African-American female head of the state board. Who's from Texas in here? Who planning to stay in Texas? So, remember yesterday, vision, goal, vision. Is that your vision? Is that your vision? Yes. Thank you. You didn't say it very, I'm not convinced. Let's try it again. Whose vision is that? Mine. I'm a little more, see, hand went up. At this time, I have the pleasure of introducing a very good friend of mine. I was kind of dressed up here, but Daryl Washington is a partner in the law firm of Daryl Washington, PLLC, out of Dallas, Texas. He's also the founder of Black Legal Issues. Daryl is a graduate of Sun University, which is the Sun University Law Center, which is the same law school I attended. Daryl and I met a few years ago at this event. Neither one of us knew we had attended the same college, or at least law school. And when we did, we just kind of hit it off. We've been friends and buddies ever since. That's the thing about being a lawyer. It's a great fraternity. The people that you meet, no matter whether they went to school before you or after you, it's just a fraternity, and it's just one big happy family. So with that being said, I'd like to bring up Daryl K. Washington, Esquire, and he's going to speak to you all today. Mr. Washington. Good morning. I know it's an early morning for all of us. I tell you, when Evangeline invited me to come speak, to be a guest speaker, Madam President, I was excited because I knew I got the chance to talk to our future attorneys. But lo and behold, when I got a calendar reminder, I also got a reminder that it was my vacation to Jamaica. Ooh. So I was like, what do I do? How do I tell Evangeline I have a conflict? And about 30 minutes after that conflict came up, I saw the brochure come up, and she had my picture up there with the president of the State Board of Texas, Mr. Walter Sutton back there with Walmart, and I was like, how can I turn this down? I have the opportunity to talk to the best and the brightest throughout the United States. So I got here late last night. I had to cut my vacation short, but at least I had the opportunity to do both of them. So you guys give yourselves a round of applause for this. Well, you guys had a little introduction about myself, and I don't want to bore you all with this. I'm trying to figure out how I got up here after the president. I mean, how can I give you anything better than what the president just gave you? But one of the things I like to do whenever I'm speaking to an audience, I try to figure out who I'm talking to, so I can try to gear what I'm going to say to the audience. So this is just going to be a little exercise to try to get audience participation, and all you have to do is raise your hand whenever I say something that fit in with you. So by show of hands, how many people are here today because they think that being a lawyer is a really sexy profession? Okay. How many people are here today because you believe that attorneys make a lot of money? Or you can be honest with me. All right? How many of you guys are here today because you thought that Houston would be a good road trip and you heard that Drake and Rihanna would be in town? So nobody gonna say that's why y'all be here. We've been in college before, you guys can't fool us. So, like I said, this is just a great profession. I want to say that you guys are miles ahead of where we are today. Because when we decided to go to law school, there was no programs like this. I didn't have the opportunity to hear from attorneys. So, I mean, I know that everybody's not here because Friday night was probably a long night, and some people getting up on Saturday mornings is a little difficult. But I just want you to know that this is how the profession of law is. This is how you determine who's going to do really well in this profession and who's not going to do really well. I mean, so you want to be always a part of this number that's going to be that small number. You want to be the person that's going to do something that everybody else is not willing to do. I mean, it's hard, it's difficult, and it's not easy. I know they have these movies on about law firms and attorneys, and it looks really good, it looks sexy. It is, to an extent, but it's a lot of work. I mean, I know sometimes we get up here, Madam President, we make it seem extremely easy and like it's a lot of fun. I mean, I can tell you, there are some nights where I'm sitting and saying, what did I get myself into? But the thing that makes it a whole lot easier is I love it. I love the practice of law because you are able to change lives, you are able to change laws, and you're able to make a difference. And that's the thing about the practice of law that I love the most. I'm not even trying to keep you guys up here really fast. I just want to touch upon three things very, very quick. You know, in practicing and becoming an attorney, there are three things that I always focus on. That's dedication, commitment, and the ability to finish. I think if you're able to really consider those three things, you're on your way to a successful career. So you asked me, what is commitment? How do we talk about commitment? I told you guys earlier about my trip to Jamaica. I mean, because I made a commitment to Evangeline, I was not letting this down. Your word is all you have. When you go to law school, you have to make a commitment. And one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen people make when they go to law school is a lot of people want to go to law school and all they want to do is graduate. I want to be the very first to tell you, you cannot do this. And I'm going to tell you a secret. Your first semester in law school is your most important semester in law school. Your first semester, if you're not writing this down, if somebody has not told you this, please write it down. Your first semester in law school is your most important semester. That's going to be the semester that's going to determine the type of clerkships, the type of internships that you get. That's going to be your grades, that's going to be the transcripts that people are going to look at when you're going into your end of your second semester when you're doing your interviews, because your transcripts would have not come out for the second semester. So all they have before them is your first semester transcript. Now I'm not saying if you get off to a slow and rocky start that's the end of law school, but it's definitely one of the most important semesters of law school. The second thing that you have to do is you have to be dedicated. You have to be truly dedicated to this profession in order to do good. The practice of law was my second career. When I decided to go to law school, I've been practicing accounting for about 6 or 7 years. My very first year in public accounting, I was working with Deloitte & Touche. I never forget this. I started in January of the busy season. And we were doing an internal audit for 7-Eleven with the Southland Corporation. And in January, as you know, the time changed. So I had to get to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. It was still dark outside. When we left, 9, 10 o'clock at night, it was dark. I mean, I did this for quite some time, and I said, you know what? This is just not for me. I cannot do this for the rest of my life. I mean, it was fun, but I really wanted to be an attorney. But that still didn't get me there. So I left the public accounting, I went into the private industry, and I was working as an internal auditor. It was one day I ran into a fraternity brother of mine. We were talking, and I said, what's going on? He told me about some of the things that he was doing, and he told me he was going to law school. I said, you got to be kidding. He said, yeah, I'm going. I decided I was going to go to law school, and I was going to Southern. I said, I'll see you there the following year. That was the only motivation that I really needed. That was the confirmation. I started preparing. I didn't have anything like this, but I started preparing, and I was convinced that I was going to do the very best that I possibly could on the LSAT. And Southern was probably one of the best opportunities for me. Initially, my final decision was between LSU and the University of Texas because I was living in Dallas. At the very last minute, I got a scholarship, a full scholarship from Southern. I mean, that was no debating at all, because my whole goal and my whole vision was to get out of law school and have no debt. So I want you guys to know, when you hear that LSAT, that is extremely important, because you want to do whatever you can, and it's all up to you. It's your future, your career is all in your hand. Having the opportunity to get free money, which could be worth $200,000 to $300,000, it's all in your hands. So I took the LSAT very serious, and it paid off. I was able to get a free ride. When I graduated from law school, I had $400 in student loans, and I only got that because I just wanted to have a loan because everybody else had it. And look, this is the funny part. This is a true story, Walter, true story. I could have paid that $400 off in a week after I started working, but I got my coupon books and I just stretched that paper out forever. And I have the coupon book showing that I paid my student loan off. And finally, you have to be able to have the ability to finish. I tell people all the time, you can't start something without finishing. And listen here, you're going to have critics. You're going to have critics that's going to tell you you can't do it. I love critics. I mean, I know people call them haters. They have all sorts of names. But I tell people all the time, show me a man without any critics, and I'll show you a man without any success. And this is a true story. So when you hear people, criticizing the decisions that you make, I want you to know that you're doing something good, because people do not talk about people who aren't important. So use that as your motivation, and you want to be able to start this. But when you walk down that sidewalk to law school every single day, think about the struggles. Think about your parents. Think about everybody that's pulling for you, grandmother, grandfather, everybody that wants to see you successful. Remember them. Every time you take a law school exam, say, I'm going to finish this, because this is well worth the race. So I welcome each and every one of you guys to the profession. And just remember, today is your very first day to becoming one of the best attorneys in the United States. Thank you.
I'd like to point out that Daryl also served on the Council for the African American Lawyers.